What's up guys? Josh here from Axiom Fitness Academy, and today we're going to be going over the 7 Primal movement patterns. What these movement patterns are the basis of pretty much every single exercise that you're going to be using from here on out. So what those are is, it's a squat, a lunge, a hinge, a press, a row, a rotation, and a gait. So from here, let's just go over some of the basic cues that we're going to be going over. First movement that we're going to go over is our squat. What we're going to do is we're going to start with your hands right behind your head. The entire time, we want to keep your chest up tall and eyes pointed straight out in front. From there, all we're going to do is we're just going to drop our hips straight down to the floor. Keep the weight back in your heels. Once we're here, now we just press the heels to the floor, return back to the upright position. A couple things that we want to think about when we're doing that squat. Number one, if you can see, we've got our toes pointed slightly off to the side, and what we want is when we come down into that squat, we want that upper thigh pointed in the exact same direction as where our toes are going. That does a couple things. Number one, it helps keeps our weight back in those heels and off to the side, avoids getting us up on the toes, but it also helps get those glutes and those hamstrings involved in that movement as well. So again, I'll give you one more view of this. Hands out in front this time if you need a little bit of counterbalance, or if your client has some balance issues. It's a little bit easier to go hands out in front. From here, same deal. We drop those hips straight down. Again, you've got my thighs going right in line with my toes. Chest up nice and tall. Drive the heels to the floor and return to starting position. All right guys, second movement here is we're gonna go into our lunge. Really, whether you're doing a forward lunge or a backward lunge, I like to do this in 2 different motions. Motion number one, we'll start with our forward lunge, is we're gonna take a step forward. Once we're here, now what we do is we just drop that back knee straight down on the ground, just like in our squat, chest up tall, eyes pointed forward, drop that back knee straight down. When we return to our starting position, you drive that front heel through that floor, and we drive it right back up. So I'm also going to demonstrate our reverse lunge. Like I said, same deal. This time all we do is we take that big step backwards, rest for a second, back knee comes straight down, chest stays up tall. Once again, we drive that front heel through that floor, and return to starting position. Alright guys, movement number 3 is we're going to move into our hinge. This is my lovely assistant Casey. She's going to be showing us exactly what that hinge is going to look like. Alright, so Casey, so you're going to face me. For our hinge, what we want is we're going to start by sticking your butt way back out behind you. There's a slight bend in those knees at all times. Once we drop those hips back, now we just drop that chest down nice and slow and controlled. Weight stays back in those heels. We should feel a little pull in those hamstrings. From there, we're going to drive your hips forward, bringing that chest up nice and tall. As we stand, you're squeezing those glutes hard at the very top. One more KC for me. Once again, dropping down nice and slow and controlled, sticking that butt way back out behind you. Again, she's keeping those nice soft knees. Then we dig those heels into that floor, driving the hips forward, right into our standing position. All right guys, movement number 4 here is we're going to go with a push. Now there are a couple different kinds of push movements that we're going to be using. Number 1 is a vertical push, so that's going to be more like a shoulder press. So what that's going to look like is, hands are going to be on top of your shoulders. We're going to reach those hands straight up towards that ceiling, and we drop those hands right back down to the floor. Later on in this program, we're going to go over some of the contraindications of why some people might not be able to do that overhead press. But just for today's purposes, like I said, elbows tucked into your side, reaching your hands straight up over top of the head, squeezing the shoulders at the top, then you bring those hands down nice and slow and controlled. The exercise I'm going to demonstrate for you today is a simple push-up, or it may sound simple, but it gets a little bit complicated. All right, so what we're going to do for that push-up is we're just going to drop the hands down to the floor. Once we're down here, we want your hands directly underneath of your shoulders. We're going to get up on those toes. So before we even start, you're going to suck that belly button in towards the spine. You're squeezing the glutes hard. So we want nice and tight all the way through that whole body. When we drop that chest down, we don't want the elbows to flare out. We want a 45-degree angle in those armpits. So as we come down, you'll pull those elbows in fairly tight to your side, dropping your chest straight down. Then we fire the hands to the floor, back in the starting position, squeezing that chest at the very top. So again, I'll give you one more look. We drop that chest down nice and slow. Again, no elbow flare. Drive the hands right through the floor, staying tight the whole time, and back in the starting position. Movement number 5 is we're going into a row. Just like we had with our press, there are 2 different types of rows, variations that we can do. Number 1, there's a vertical row, and there's also a horizontal row. So just a couple different planes of motion that we're going to go through. I'm going to use a TRX to demonstrate both of those, but just like with any of these other exercises that we're going through, there's a bunch of different modalities that we can use. You You can also use dumbbells, barbells, or a bunch of other variations. All right guys, so with our TRX row, what we're gonna do is we keep our weight back in our heels, hips are gonna stay up high. Once we're here, all we do is pull back through your elbows. As we pull back, you're gonna open that chest up, elbows come tucked in tight to your side. From there, we just release nice and slow and controlled, full relaxation of those arms. Once again, pull those elbows straight back, bring the chest up, we're squeezing our shoulder blades at the very top. From there, release those arms all the way back out, making sure we get full range of motion. All right guys, for our vertical row variation, once again, I'm gonna use our TRX. This is just a little bit higher. And like I said, we can use some different modalities for this. We can also use just a normal pull-up bar, or if we're going like a lat pull down. But basically, the effects are the exact same. We're gonna start with our chest up nice and tall. We wanna keep that torso vertical the entire time. Now, once we grab our handles, what we're gonna do is pull your elbows straight down and pull back just a little bit. So again, as we pull up, chest stays up tall, open that chest up. Then again, we drop down nice and slow and controlled. Every time we want that full range of motion, so full extension up over top of the head. Again, pull those elbows in tight to your sides, squeezing the shoulder blades together, open that chest up. Then once again, we drop down nice and slow and controlled, back to our full extension. All right guys, movement number 6, we're gonna do our rotation. So again, there's plenty of different ways that we can do those rotations. Today, I'm just gonna demonstrate what a cable wood chop is going to look like. Then from there, we'll kind of go over a couple of what those other variations may be. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with one of our bands. Once we're here, we want our feet shoulder width apart, arms extended out in front of our body. We're gonna take that band from hip to hip. So we're just gonna rotate from our hips and our shoulders as we twist, getting up on that back toe. Return back to our starting position, keeping that chest up tall, eyes pointed out in front. We're just gonna rotate around, get up on that back toe, and then rotate right back in tight. For your clients who might not be able to do that quite as easily, just something that we can do is pull those hands in a little bit closer. That just makes that rotation a little bit easier. So again, still getting that twist, getting that rotation right back to our starting position. All right guys, another variation that we can do of our twist is seated down. We're gonna be doing just a Russian twist. So again, our chest is up nice and tall. From there, we just rotate the shoulders to the side as far as we can. Same thing, coming back in the opposite direction. Rotate the shoulders, rotate from side to side to side. All right guys, and the final movement pattern that we're going over today, number 7, is gait. So basically, really all that is it can be sprinting, it can be walking, it can be doing stuff in place like you're doing some high knees. Really all that is we're just that opposite arm, opposite leg, getting those legs moving, getting those feet moving. Again, like I said, it can be sprinting, it can be walking, it can be doing stuff in place, but really all it is just those legs moving forward and backward.